What's going on, guys? It's NYPrepper here. It is Monday, May 10th, 2021, and I have an important weather alert to share with you guys. So I want to talk about the latest forecast that just came out from NOAA for the El Nino Southern Oscillation. And if you don't know what that is, the El Nino Southern Oscillation plays a huge role in medium-term climate and specifically climate forecasting and medium-term weather forecasting. And there's two types of conditions in the El Nino Southern Oscillation. You have what's known as the El Nino and you have the La Nina, okay? During an El Nino, you typically have warmer than normal winters, okay? And during a La Nina, you have very cold winters, especially in the United States and in North America. La Nina winters tend to be extremely cold, and there's a lot of Arctic air outbreaks and nor'easters. If you live in the northeastern part of the U.S., you get a lot of nor'easters. So it's a very important thing to follow, and I always follow it, and I always try to update you guys on what's going on with the ENSO. And so we just got a new forecast that came out just this past week from NOAA, and NOAA is saying that they're expecting a weak La Nina this winter, okay? And they're saying it's going to begin in late fall and progress into the winter. So that to me is very significant. And what that means is that we're going to have a colder than normal winter again. This past winter was pretty severe. It wasn't as bad as we've had, a few years ago. We had some really bad winters here in upstate New York, but it was pretty bad, and it was the worst winter in a couple of years. We had some pretty cold air and some pretty severe snow. But specifically, this past winter was really bad for the plains and for the upper Midwest and especially Texas. And Texas is where they had that really bad polar vortex this past winter. And also in the Dakotas, they had some record-breaking cold temperatures. There were some areas in the Dakotas where they broke records that were set in the 1930s. So you're talking about 100-year-old records that were shattered from the polar vortex and the Arctic outbreaks. And this past winter was a La Nina, okay? We had a La Nina this past winter. So the La Nina, was the cause of the polar vortexes and the Arctic air intrusions into the Midwest. And so now the NOAA is forecasting another La Nina this winter, and that's known as a double La Nina. And we haven't seen a double La Nina in a couple of years. And if you go back and watch some of my weather videos, I have a separate playlist for all the weather videos that I do. And you go into my weather playlist, you'll see that I predicted this would happen a few months ago. I said that there's a strong likelihood that we'll see a double La Nina. And I said that months ago, okay? And finally now we have the government saying that, yeah, there's going to be a weak La Nina this winter. And so what does that mean for you as a prepper? What that means is that you need to be prepared for Arctic air intrusions into the U.S. You need to be prepared for a very active snow season, especially if you live in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. There's going to be a lot of coastal snowstorms, nor'easters. But more importantly than all of that is we're going to also have to deal with an above average Atlantic hurricane season. Okay, La Ninas not only favor Arctic air intrusions into the U.S., but they also favor an very above average Atlantic hurricane season and a very active hurricane season. Okay, so we're going to have to deal with hurricanes, blizzards, and polar vortexes this coming fall and winter. Okay. And NOAA is also saying that we're going to kind of stay in like a borderline La Nina pattern through the summer. And then once we get into the fall, it's going to intensify and there's going to be a weak La Nina. Okay, so we have to really see how strong the La Nina is going to be. If it's going to be, like borderline La Nina, or is it going to be kind of a strong La Nina like we had just before this past winter? We have to wait and see how it unfolds. But the fact that NOAA is pulling the trigger on this and they're saying that there's going to be a weak La Nina is pretty significant, because they're usually pretty conservative. And because, NOAA and the National Weather Service are skewed towards global warming and pushing the global warming narrative, they generally don't pull the trigger on La Ninas that easily, because La Ninas favor cooler temperatures and global cooling. Okay, when there's a La Nina, the earth cools. Okay, so they're not going to pull the trigger unless they absolutely know for sure, and they feel that they have to do it so they don't lose their credibility. Okay, so it's pretty significant that they're pulling the trigger on that. So be ready for an above average hurricane season this fall. Be ready for more Arctic air intrusions this winter, and be ready for an above average snowfall. And because that's all the things that go along with La Ninas. Okay, and again, we are in a grand solar minimum right now, and we're approaching the beginnings of solar cycle 25, and we have to wait and see how active solar cycle 25 is going to be. But a lot of the forecasts are saying that solar cycle 25 is going to be pretty much non-existent, and that's going to usher in the grand solar minimum, which could theoretically cause a little ice age. And the last time this happened was in the 1400s to the 1600s. We had a period of dormancy with the sun, and the solar cycle was very weak. And as a result, we had a little ice age where the river in London would freeze every winter, and they had frost fairs on the river. And that was known as the Little Ice Age, and it was supposedly caused by the Maunder minimum. And so we could potentially be heading into a period like that, but that's something else to look out for. But in the shorter term, we have another La Nina coming back. All right, we have the La Nina coming back this winter, possibly. So get ready for that. Now, in addition to that, we have some frost and freeze warnings up right now in the Midwest and in the Northeast. You could see all these light blue colors here representing frost advisories, and the purple colors represent freeze warnings. So if you live anywhere in the Midwest or the Northeast, it's going to be cold the next few days, and the next couple of nights are going to get down close to the freezing mark. And I know a lot of you guys started planting your gardens already, and I've seen a lot of my friends sharing pictures of their gardens that they just planted, and I've seen a lot of people talking about gardening already. Well, you may have started a little bit too soon, because some of these areas are going to get hit with some really strong freezes over the next few days. So if you do have a garden and you just planted it, you may want to cover it, or bring your plants inside if you can. Okay. But, going along with this La Nina that we're just coming out of, a strong La Nina, the strongest La Nina we've had in a few years. So there's a little bit of a lagging effect, because the La Nina peaked out in the middle of winter. So that's why we didn't really get those Arctic outbreaks until later on in the winter. And so there was like a delay effect, because the La Nina peaked out in the middle of the winter. So now we're finally starting to see the effects of the La Nina. And that's why the spring has been so cool so far. We haven't really warmed up so quickly. Like here in upstate New York, it's been in the 40s and in the 50s the last couple of days, and it's already mid-May. And I think this type of cool pattern is going to persist through the summer, because we have that lagging effect from the La Nina, and then we're going to go back into another La Nina this winter. Okay, so get ready, guys. Get ready for a colder winter. And that's all I got for now. I'll keep you guys updated on how the forecast changes as we progress through the summer. I'm going to keep an eye on this. So stay tuned to my channel for updates on the La Nina forecast. But I think later on in the summer, we'll get a more clear picture of how strong the La Nina is going to be. And then that's going to determine how strong the Atlantic hurricane season is going to be and how bad the winters is going to be. Okay. But at the very least, we're going to have a second La Nina, possibly a weak La Nina. So get ready, guys. Okay. So that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice,